Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for joining. My name is Dripment. We are making some tear out today. I remade Orphan of Anguish by MARAUDA, one of my favorite tracks. Came out sick. I want to show you guys how I remade this and all the tips and tricks that come along with it. The guns and all the cool stuff in this project will be in my Patreon too. If you guys want to go ahead and get those sounds, everything will be in the description. Run it. Yeah. Yes, that's how we do it. That's how we get it done. High energy. As you see, lots of brass going on, lots of tear out guns. I'm going to show you guys what's up. So first off, let's get into the guns and the drop. Then we'll look at the intro with all the brass. Right here, or before the drop, we actually do not have a pre-drop. You'll listen, all the drums just go straight into the fake out. Now this fake out has no drums, no kick and clap, except for this first kick that kind of sets it off. But we do have the sub playing with the gun, just no drums. Now the rhythm that this is playing is triplets. So if you hit Command 3, you can enter triplets on your arrangement. Command 1 and 2 will make the grid smaller and bigger. And you'll see these start to line up on the grid as triplets here. 1/4 triplets. Let me throw in some fast triplets. You'll see here 1/16 triplets. Then this is just like cut in half. So just half. And right before the drop actually starts, we have to make sure that basically we have a little bit of silence, and we're using these zaps here for the silence. When we get to the actual drop, the guns slow down significantly. So it's fast in the fake out, then we slow it down here in the drop. Now, if you watch my video, how to make tear out guns like MARAUDA 2024, you'll know how to make these guns. These one-shots are coming from this huge group. This mixology room is where I create the guns. We can solo and listen here. So I'll make the gun within here, and then I'll print it out to audio, and then I'll start to layer the audio. So this one right here, I'll recolor it, is the main, and then these others are just supporting. So this is an octave lower of the gun. This is an extra layer, just another random gun mixed with the OG gun. So I have 3 guns basically layered after I did all this layering just to make the first gun. And then you'll see the final guns group as a multiband dynamics to make it a little bit louder, as well as a saturator. Using these EQ8s to cut out all the lows to make sure it's clean. And then this this shifter will be automating so we can change the tones over time. So it's regular pitch, and then it goes lower pitch because of this fine knob. So you can mess with the pitch just by automating that knob, which is really sick. Super good, super easy. That's how you make the guns, and then you just have to put them in a nice rhythm. MARAUDA basically did this rhythm. That's what I was replicating, how fast he was doing the guns. And it's real creative. He slows it down, but he lets sustains play. So let's listen. Now this sustain is used with massive. This is a massive sustain. He likes to use this scream filter a lot. So that's what we're doing here. And we're actually automating the scream knob. So you see this automation knob here, it's slowly pitching up when the scream filter goes up. So from 45 to 57, you'll see this starts to move up here. I've made a video on this before. This will be in the Patreon as well if you want to get this sustain. This sustain is used in two different ways. So it's pitching up here. But over here it's pitching down. So I'll just pick different points that sound cool. This one's going from 42 down to 27. It's just amp, distortion, OTT, make it loud. Reverb, add some nice space. Those are the sussies, and they're going to be being played. You see this every 4 bars. Every phrase here is a 4-bar phrase. That's how you're going to keep it moving, keep everyone dancing. When the sustain is running, I let the sub go with the sustain. I slowly rise the pitch, kind of to match what the bass is doing. And then when we get to the next phrase, the sub doesn't go long anymore, it's following the gun rhythm. So you see we're going back and forth between fast sub, long sub. Fast sub, long sub, every 4 bars. And the same thing with the gun. So when the sustain is long, the guns slow down. When the sustain is pitching down, the guns speed up, and then we let the sub go with the guns. Different techniques to keep it interesting and keep the variations. And all these are going to be in triplets. You know, we're not really using regular time in here. It's all triplets. So like, see the lines start to line up with all these trips. See the lines here. All triplets we're using. Dubstep, tearout uses a lot of triplets. So make sure you use your 4th triplets, 8th triplets, 16th triplets. You see this phrase, it starts slow, then starts to go fast towards the end of the phrase. Sick. Drums, simple. We just have kick snare combo. Nice little rhythm combo, and then we had the cymbals. Easy quarter note cymbals. Those are important. Just staying on the quarter note, keeping that rhythm. So remember, after you make your first gun, you're going to print it out to audio. It's going to go in this track, and then we're going to add some more loudness to it. Multiband dynamics, saturation, reverb. We're going to layer it with a version of itself. Down an octave. This one's also loud, but we turn it down. Next layer is just basically a random gun layer to fill out the frequency spectrum even more. Mixed with. So you can experiment and layer different sounds with your guns to make it even louder, fuller. Then you group them up, add more post-processing to make it a little bit louder. And this is what we're really going to have to do to make it loud and clear in the mix during these super crazy tear out tracks. Sub is the Sisto sub that I showed in my previous video. Watch that. Only thing different is that I'm using a G clip here at the end to clip the sub at 3 decibels to make it even louder and to cut through the mix more. Without G clip, it sounds like this. With that G clip is nice, adding lots of thickness to that sub. Same thing with this sub, same sub, it's just the LFO has been changed in Serum to make it long. Right here, see 4 bars rate, super long, rather than fast like the other one. Drop is pretty simple, right? Guns, sussies, drums. When we get towards the end of the phrases, that's when things start to get a little cool. So MARAUDA uses like Reeses and basses to kind of transition from phrase to phrase. So when this phrase ends, as soon as the snare hits, we have this Reese start. And it goes through the downbeat and essentially becomes the next call. We take out some silence, add some different sounds here. You see I added this Jekyll and Hyde sound. And that's how we kind of like make a unique transition / call to the next phrase. You see, it doesn't happen every one. It happens every other one. This phrase at the end is just regular timing. We just add some lasers. Then we go back. We'll use a different neuro bass this time. So you can get really experimental and basically add any basses or any sounds, vocals, instruments in these transition sections. You see the 0.3s are where it stops. This is where the snares hit at the 0.3, stops, and then the 0.3 at 33 is where it starts again. So just keep that in mind with the timing. 4-bar phrases and your 0.3s are very important. Now let's get into the intro here. Very simple brass intro. Music theory is everything here. So if you see, we are writing in D sharp minor. So we start the brass with a D sharp and we move up to the 3rd. And that's the only movement we're doing. And essentially that's sustained really long. Now to get it really thick and layer like this, you have to do a lot of layers. So first you have your sub all the way at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind too, these cymbals are playing quarter note the whole time as soon as it starts. If these weren't here, then it would feel like a halftime song. But these keep it regular timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep your head bobbing like that. That's important, because these instruments are playing very slow. So we have a low brass. This is a trombone. So you see 3 different trombones. They're playing different notes here. So this one's at D2, this one's at D1, this one's at D3. So they're all 3 different octaves kind of filling the frequency spectrum with the brass. 3 together. Now this is basically these 3 together, resampled. So I'll resample, see how it says resample here. I'll record these 3, and then I'll pitch them down an octave to make a super low octave layer of the brass to layer with the OGs. Layered with that sound is essentially this, which is resampled again, but you see that's turned off. These 4 layers make up that big brass, so we group them up, add distortion with the amp, OTT, got to get it loud. Saturator, got to get it loud. Output's pumped at 14 decibels and saturator is pumped at 10 decibels. It's pumped pretty high. EQ8 doing a little bit of cleaning. Auto filter doing a little bit of cleaning. EQ8 doing a little bit of cleaning. That's how this brass comes out. You see, we have to turn it down to -8 because it's too loud. So once you get it super loud, just turn it down, mix it into the song, layer some other stuff like pads. And this will fill it even more. Playing the same notes as the brass. Now, once we get to the build up, it's pretty simple. We resample the brass and we have it start to, we stretch the brass. So usually it looks like this. Then you hold shift, grab the top right, stretch that brass. And then on the second part, you can actually pitch it up. So the brass starts to pitch up with the song. So that's the brass from the intro, resampled into the build-up. So we have that. Then we also have some risers. So these risers were picked at random. You know, you don't really have to do too much with those. You have some sweeps, sweeping down as soon as the the build-up starts. These are just on the prominent sections helping fill it up. Impacts. Risers. So all these together start adding energy. But the tear-out snare is very important, very loud, thick. We're actually layering 2 snares to get this. You see the space cut out, and then we just throw in like a little bass in the space. That happens right before it starts to speed up. And boom, there we go. It's pretty simple, man. Orphan of Anguish, Marauda's a champ. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. I do private lessons. I have my Patreon giving out lots of racks, lots of samples. Hit me up if you need help. I'm here for you. Have a great night. Keep it real. Stay fresh. Peace out, brothers.
Uses an extremely low frequency radio.